Template configuration is one of the new features that comes with Donation Store in version 2.5. It allows you to specify different values that you can use in your template. Things like colors, layouts can be provided in the template config, whereby you can use that in your web store to configure and customize how it looks and how it feels. In this video, we're going to show you some of the default template configs that come with the new default template, and we'll also show you how you can customize the new default template to add some other functionality using the template config. Anyway, let's get into it. So to access the template config for your particular template, all you have to do is come down to Settings and Web Store here in the control panel. Click on Design and scroll down to the bottom and you'll see this editor, and it says Template Config. So this is an editor where you can provide JSON information that allows you to configure your template. The default new template comes with some built-in configuration options, but this is something that is quite useful for those who want to build templates, for the community and all that sort of thing. It allows you to make your templates pretty customizable. So just to give you an idea of what our store currently looks like, you can see it's the default green color and this kind of beigey color in the background. And again, it's a horizontal nav bar across the top. If I want to change that, I can just type in vertical nav, set that to true. And as you can see, there is syntax highlighting there. So if you get some syntax wrong, it will tell you. And when I hit save and come over to the web store, you can see now we have the navigation bar on the left hand side instead of across the top. So that's one of the main things that comes in with the template config in the new template to show it off. How you can, create templates that are dynamic without having to, supply two sets of files or anything like that. So if we go back to the config, we've also added some colors. So you can use the config for anything you want, but we added some colors as well. So I can add things like this. So let me just copy some colors from over here. Let's say we add a brand color, which is brand in the brand object, in the colors object, and then brand here. Click save. That needs to be hex, like that. Now you can see the background over here has changed, which is nice, but we can take that a bit further and we can add a secondary color, which is always good. So we can come inside the colors object and put in secondary, and you can see we have a secondary. And also to change the color of the actual background here, we can add a content BG, which is content background. Set that to that. Press save. And then when we come back, you can see everything's changed to our brand. You can see the buttons have changed. So it's quite customizable. You can, take the base template and customize it to the colors that your network uses. And then to go back to normal, if we wanted to just, get everything removed, just delete the template config, and back we go to the original template. So next, I'm going to show you a way that you can extend the template config to add extra functionality outside of the layout and colors shown on this template. So now we're in the template, the default new template. If you're going to edit this, I'd recommend making a copy of it and then using that instead. But as you can see, here's the HTML files on the left hand side. You can edit them whichever way you want, but I'm just going to use an editor. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the template config to our advantage. We're going to make it so that the player count for that server is displayed on the top right of the front end of the web store. So this is quite useful for theme developers who might want to, make this a configurable option, but don't want to make their customers provide the IP address for the server in a file or something like that. Instead, by using template config, you can just ask them to provide it on the control panel, and it'll display the player count there. So what I'm going to do is open up the top nav, which is the top nav where the currency and the languages are, and I'm going to put a button here, simple button with some classes. So top nav button. Let's give it a relative and a background secondary. And let's also give it an ID of players online. And we can just say the content of it is loading for the moment, and let's save that. So now if we go back to the store, you can see we have a loading button but it's not doing anything right now. So what we can actually do is go back to Sublime and open up the JavaScript file. You can do this in the base.html, or you can do this in the JS file that comes with this store. It's up to you. But what I'm going to do, actually, to make things a bit easier, actually I might put it into the base.html just so we can see it better. So let's come down here and create a script tag for some JavaScript. And we'll use jQuery built in, so we'll use $document. So when the document is ready, call this function. And what we can do is we can just type in an alert just to show you that it works. Let's just say hello, and let's do a refresh. You can see when the page loads we get a hello, so let's delete that. But what we can do is we can make a call with Ajax to this API that I'll show you now. It's a simple API for getting details about Minecraft servers. It's just mcapi.xdefcon.com/server, and we're going to use one of our customers' IP addresses, Trelandia /full/JSON. So that'll make a request to that API, and then we'll make a GET request, and when we get a successful response, we will return something. Let's just alert, well, just to show you that it works, we can probably just alert the players. Now, a lot more stuff comes back in this API. If you visit that link there, mcapi.defcon.com, you can see exactly what gets returned, but for now I'm just gonna give this a refresh, and you can see it says 215. So when I come back here, I can just use jQuery again and just say $, players online, which was the ID we gave for that button. We're going to set the HTML to be the result.players, which is what we got back from the API, and we'll say players online and save that, and we refresh. Players online, you see 213 players is online, which is fine. So now you're probably asking, where does the template config comes in? Well, what we can do is, if you look up to the top here, there's an example of where we use the template config. So if it says if webstore config.colors, it'll do all these different things. It gets the config and stores it in webstore_config, so we can use that wherever we want. So what we can do is, instead of having this here, we can take out the IP, provide it in the template config as, let's say, server IP, like that. And now, when we go back to the code, we can now set this to be, well, what is it? Webstore-config, or webstore-config.server IP. And let's put it, yeah, that should be okay. Let me just double check. Sorry. No, we can just do that maybe. Sorry. Let's have a quick look at the console, what it's saying. MC is not defined. What's the page source? Let's have a quick look. Okay, so it's putting that in like that. So we actually don't have to have the quotes. We can just do simple, we can just do this, really. Like that. As you can see, it's mc.trelandia.it. So if we do a refresh, you can see it's 216 players online. So now you can change these to absolutely anything, any Minecraft server, and it will reflect on the config. So again, if you're a theme developer, you can, provide something like this where it gets the player count or Discord or whatever, and all the user will have to do is put in their IP in the template config. So that's pretty much it. As I said, this is just an example on how to do it using JavaScript, getting player counts, but you can go ahead and do whatever you want. You can use it for customizing colors, layouts, anything you want. But yeah, it's there for you if you need it. So that's pretty much it for the template config. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.